Good evening. Welcome to another session of the Hackers. We're together. I'm so excited.
But we've been together since.
Yes, now, but we're together today online.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Hmm.
It's good to see you all. Anybody who watches this later on, you will see that the excitement is palpable, it's different when we're in person. Welcome to another Hackers Day. And today we're just going to be studying together. This is how we started. We used to study together before we went online. So yes, always interesting when we can do this together. And I mean, if you think we used to take a long time before, in person can be worse.
Oh.
But we will try. We'll try.
Today is one chapter.
Yeah, today is just one chapter. Mark 8. So we're going to, I don't think we'll have much, I don't think we're going to have much, what's it called, notes on screen as much as we'll have, so it depends on what Pulo has graciously put on the live for us. As usual.
No notes on screen.
We have no notes on screen today. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. But for anyone who who's just new to the Arcos, this is who we are. We are kingdom citizens learning the word of God for our interpretation and a real life, a real time application. So that we can integrate into our daily lives and live the way Christ has taught us to live. It's been a long time coming, and we've come a long way to this place where we can be, what's the word I want to use? Standing on your feet and working it through your mind, quickly, like, what does this mean? How do I respond? And it used to be we respond and then we come back and say, I should have done, I could have done, I could have. But these days we're finding that we're more in our minds in terms of what have we learned and how should I respond, as opposed to respond and come back and think I should have done that differently. So I think it's that the integration part of it is what I'm enjoying the most now, because learning the word, knowing the word, is a totally different thing from actually doing it. So when I know recently, especially since I came home for, to be with my family and all of that with you guys, it's not a shock to my system per se, but having to deal with a different set of, when you get used to your life in one area, and then I've come home now, and it's almost like remembering what it was like before I moved to a different country, what I have come to become, what has become my norm now, then coming back and seeing some of the same things that I experienced before I left to go to a different country, and my response to them now being totally different. That has been my own, my experience, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, growth. That's the word. Yeah, it's the growth. And our anchor passages for this year is on the selection that we have on the screen. We repeat it every week, but repetition helps us remember, isn't it? And it's from Philippians 2 verse 5 to 8, Romans 12 18, John 14 27, and John 1 verse 1. No, John chapter 1 verse 1 to 3, yes. And then the last one, Hebrews 12 14. All of these are telling us the same thing, basically, that we should incorporate or to learn and have the mind of Christ operating in us in our everyday lives, so that we can, as much as it's possible and as much as it is up to us, live in peace with all men. And that's what our theme is, Cultivating the mind of Christ. Peace with all men.
Mhm.
The peace and holiness of Jesus, totally different.
Mhm.
Even from the peace of the Bible that we know it, as we know it to be, totally different, I'm finding. And then bringing us our responses, our lifestyle, everything back to the blueprint of the Bible. So that's what we do here on ACOS. And you will find our notes and different material and resources that we've used in the past and the ones that we will have in the future on this link. Everything, you will find them there. And today we're going to be talking about Mark chapter 8, His kingdom, His way, from spiritual blindness to kingdom understanding. I love it.
That's all.
That's all, folks. That's all, folks.
That's all.
That's our topic. So we are going to do what we do best, which is go into the word and looking at Mark chapter 8. Let me just go through my own quick notes, because today I went to work, which I should not have done. I should be resting.
Mhm.
But guess what? If I hadn't gone, there are some things I would have gone by.
Mhm.
Some things gone bad in the sense that because I'm in construction and remodeling and design and all of that, some things were delivered and they were going to install them in the wrong place. That whole relaxation of I'm around.
Mm.
If I wasn't around and I was doing this online, they would have sent me videos. I would have followed up with different parameters, different models. I didn't do that. And when the guy called me and said, "Oh, we've delivered it," and when I said, "Just hold on.
Don't do anything.
Don't touch
Move
nothing."
not.
In fact,
Stay
freeze. I'll be
Wisdom.
there. So I got
Wisdom.
there and we had to reorganize and move everything and laziness.
Mm.
But I have some notes.
Mhm.
And the way my questions are like, up till now, up till this chapter, we find Mark answering the question, who is Jesus?
Correct. Mhm.
But beginning from this chapter 8, we're now going to look at what does it mean to follow him?
Mhm.
Not just what it means in terms of my understanding or what my head says following Jesus looks like mean. What does it actually look like? What are they? Because there's a cost.
Yeah.
There's a cost to it. Now, how am I going to look at that cost? Am I going to frame it as, oh, I get to live this way, or, oh dear, like when we were growing up, we thought it was like, oh my God, I can't have any fun. I'm like, yeah, just going to cramp my style. We're going to, Jew. You call those people, you say they're Jew men. And I don't know what that means. Where did they get that from? It's a Jew man. What does that mean?
So you kind of like strict
on
following, rules
and
So you're a Jew, because they will not do anything that is.
I never looked at it. Can you imagine?
They must follow the rules.
I wonder how many people would
and
traditions didn't know where it came from. Honestly,
follow the rules and the traditions.
Yeah. So this chapter, it just marks transition from revelation of Jesus' identity to the formation of a disciple. What forms you? How does a disciple? Who forms that? What lifestyle, what doctrine, what teaching, what practices makes you a disciple? This is where Mark starts to talk about it. As you said, from spiritual blindness to kingdom understanding. It's the same thing my notes say, seeing clearly and following fully.
Yeah.
This is just what it is, really. So, because if you don't have clarity of where you're going, your errors you keep having a lot of detours, and that's life, isn't it? We're doing a lot of trials and errors. Try this, it doesn't work, okay. But maybe if we know what we're building, then we can see from afar if we're building in the right direction. Anyway, because if you're not building in the right direction, you will have to make a U-turn. You will have to retrace your steps. You will have to readdress certain things, right? So for me, the way I've placed it, the context and placement from chapters 1 to 7 reveals Jesus' authority over demons, his authority over sickness, his authority over nature, over the religious systems, and over impurity. Seeing also how, even though the disciples have witnessed all of these things and the authority that Jesus has wielded over everything, they're still struggling to understand. And these are people who were with him real time, in person, face to face, eyeballing. So that says to me that proximity does not equal understanding or belief even. Because this thing we say believe, I believe. When it's time to actually respond to something is when we know what we truly believe.
What comes out?
What comes out of when you're squeezed
first.
So the central theme is spiritual sight. Who truly sees? Who is only looking? Who recognizes Jesus? Who is misunderstanding him? The entire chapter revolving around these questions. Do you see me? Do you really see him? Do you really understand? Who is understanding? What's the misunderstanding in this place that we find ourselves, even for us today, reading and seeing that we're not alone. We're in very good company if we're still struggling. So the whole idea is not that, the whole concept is not that you're going to become perfect. If that's the case, then Jesus is trying to create himself. That's not what he said we should do. Emulate, follow. That alone leaves room for error. So that failures can be addressed as opposed to I cannot fail. There's no such thing as I cannot fail. Right?
And understanding that spiritual sight is not I can see.
Yes, my eyes
I
have
was
opened.
blind and I can see. And I think that's another way of, the miracle of the blind man, where he gave him his sight, but it wasn't complete. And it was a gradual revelation of, okay, this is when I can now see.
Yes.
I can see things clearly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the same way that the disciples could not understand fully at first. And he kept on telling them, you would understand in time. Everything will be revealed. So it's a gradual. So we shouldn't expect our own spirituality as well to be from the day I say I believe in
immediately
you, then everything is in place, right? It's a gradual, and we've seen it ourselves. It's a gradual process where today is this principle, you apply, you integrate. The next day you're applying and integrating the other one. You fall down, you get up. You continue, right? And it all comes from us being aligned with him in spirit. Not by our own doing, because if not, those people, as you said, proximity with him should have they should have been the ones that had everything. They don't need to know anything else because I'm with him.
Exactly.
But he allowed them to go through the motions and get that clarity and understanding. And we have to check our hearts, because if you're not, think about it, Peter and Judas, or any of the other disciples and Judas, they all had their own agenda. They all thought Jesus was something that he wasn't, right? They all wanted him to be something.
To be something else. They had an idea of what a savior was supposed to look
redeemer,
like.
Their redeemer, right? But his own agenda and their own were different. However, because their heart was with him, irrespective of their own agenda, they could align and leave their agenda behind, right? They were able to continue that discipleship and that followership.
True.
That's the difference between Judas
the two of them.
and
one had a bad day, the other one had a bad habit, bad attitude,
bad attitude that could not let go of that
what he wanted,
agenda,
what he expected,
right? And that's where I feel like, we're all blind, accepted. The only person that can give us that sight is Jesus, and it's a daily
spirit as well.
It's a daily giving, right? And as long as we then know that it's not by our own doing, and it's His way, His kingdom way, that's the only way that we can get that alignment.
Sure.
So that's what I kind of distilled from the chapter as well. Like, not to go into the other bits of chapter, but just on the aspect that you spoke about.
Yes.
Like, let's stop expecting our way. I want to be perfect. I want to know everything. I want to understand every verse. I want to understand, even from reading scripture as well. Be patient. Maybe you don't have
because
to
He won't
know
open your eyes to everything
at that time.
What you need, He will He will open your eyes to see. We do this thing where we think that there is some, when grace has been given to you to understand one aspect, it now almost becomes as if you are now a custodian.
Yes.
But nobody is a custodian of God. No one person can understand what He has created, every single thing. I mean, there's somebody who I met with our sister Buki once, and we went into his establishment. He does coffee, bring coffee, and the first thing I asked for something, and he said, "You never know, with proper arrangement, then if you see God." I went, And then my first thought was, ask Job. He will tell you how devil will see God, because he was on his own quietly. And then they said the devil was roaming, and God asked him, "Where have you been?" Is that not arrangement? That he was in the queue with other angels going to see the Father. He said, "What have you been doing?" He said, "I've just been roaming around." Have you considered my son Job? Was Job not on his own? Minding his business. Being righteous, even praying for his children, just in case they have done something and forgotten to be a Jew, to keep the law. Well, they were not Jews. We don't even know what they were. But anyway, to keep the law that they knew. So we can't actually blame or even look down on the disciples or anybody else who was doing what they believed was right, because they were reading the scroll. It's the same way if we today take the word and we are reading it and say verbatim, I must do like this. First and foremost, I have failed everything today, me by myself. I am not near where I live. I have crossed localities and crossed. I'm not supposed to travel on the Sabbath. No?
You drove even.
I even drove. That means I walked. Where do we start? Do you understand?
You woke up and you're thinking about work.
Exactly. I cooked, I ate.
You cooked and you ate.
Fire has come on in the house where I live. So all of those things. And if you go to the passage where Jesus said that you bury your head in the scriptures, because in them you think you will find God. But I am here and you have refused to come to me. I am saying to you, you who are weary and heavy laden, come, let me give you rest. Come into my rest. What is his rest? His rest does not mean you won't work, you won't eat, you won't clean your house, you won't look after your family. He's the one who told them, why are you giving? You're giving tithes to church, down to your little spice, you're tithing it. The day I read that thing, I cried with laughter, because how do you tithe time? Because the time now you're going to count it. So every one spoon you keep 10, one here. Every 9 spoons, the 10th one you put it aside. Are you going to count them in leaves or what? But he says that you tithe every little thing, but then you will tell your parents that, sorry, the money I'd have used to look after you, I have put it in the church. You said that you are Western. So when you read all of these things, you are clear that what he's saying and what we have been interpreting them to mean, especially in our own context for a long time, has been erroneous. Not that it is altogether thrown away, because everybody, there's that song, there is something that makes me run into your presence. What made me look for God? What made you look for God? It's different. But we're looking for God. So I can't be laughing at you for your own weakness, because where I'm strong is where you are weak. That means you too will laugh at me, because where you are strong is where I'm weak. Exactly. So then what? Who is the custodian? Who is he didn't come to teach us how to be gods. He came to teach us how to be human, God's way. Yeah. Original intent of a thing is what the manufacturer has put in the manual, which for us is, I believe, the Bible. If somebody feels it's incomplete, let them go and find the incomplete ones. Me, I want to first do the one that I've seen.
Even one book.
Let me even do one before we start looking for the things that are missing. I don't care who removed the leaves. They should bring the rest, but it's up to them. Let me finish this one. Right. So this is what Mark is showing us, and what I have looked at, the ones my study session, which I've not finished. Let me not lie now. I haven't finished, but the part that I have looked at talks about the key difference between the feeding of the 5,000 and the feeding of the 4,000, even though Mark records both, right? Looking at the intentionality of that recording, that 5,000 primarily occurs in the Jewish territory, whereas the 4,000 from the history likely occurred in the Gentile territory. So not everybody would hear. There's hearsay, and then there's it happened in our own too. So it didn't only happen with you people. So you can't say you have autonomy, or now we get that. It's our own, just like the words, it's the quarrel now. The Torah is our own. There's nobody owns God. So it's for all of us. Exactly. Right? And I have no business judging his servants, whosoever he chooses to use to do whatever. That's his prerogative. My own job is to face my front. As Paul said, do everything possible to mind my business. Yeah. How is my life affecting the next person? So he did those two. He recorded both of them. What is the theological significance? His provision extends beyond Israel. If he did only one and they recorded only one, it will look as if it is only with them. Because if you know where it first happened, these loaves of bread feeding people, back in the Old Testament, Prophet Elijah. Yeah. When those prophets were coming to see him and they said they didn't have, what did they not have? I can't remember. Even his assistant was like, are we going to feed all the prophets with these two, how many loaves of? That multiplication happened there too. Yeah. So Jesus did not come and start doing things harebrained that came from everywhere. How about what is his name? If you dip in the water 7 times, what's that his name? Not Roman.
I've forgotten his name.
The one with the leprous skin.
Yeah. Layman. Is it Layman?
Layman. Can't remember.
I'm the worst person with names. They will tell you.
So just do a Google search. Let's find somebody's name like that. The one who the prophet asked to dip in the water, that he was saying, what are they trying to say? Is it that they don't have water in their own country, that you brought me all the way here?
With the servant girl,
servant girl. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's Layman. Let's see.
So for me, what I'm saying is, when you look at all the healing aspect, I think Jesus was bringing back to their memory or remembrance that it's not just priests or prophets that God has given the grace for healing. or for any of these things. Remember, he has told them in previous books we read that these things and much more will you do. Much more than this will you do. What are these? You will lay hands on the sick and they will recover. You will trample serpents and scorpions. I hope we know it's not real life snake and scorpion.
How do we know?
It's not just real life, So
it can be real or
it can be whatever. But when you think about the concept of the biblical what's the word? References. They don't mean the animal itself. It's the characteristic of the animal. Jesus is called the Lion of the tribe of Judah. He did not ever roar like a lion, nor did he grow hairs. And they say he's also the lamb. He was not bleating. So it's the characteristics, of the animal. But these are the things that he says we will do, and he's showing them real time by his own activities, actions, what that looks like. Naaman and his slave girl. So the instructions that follow, just like he was giving them instructions to follow. Remember the last 2 chapters, the other time he told them, 2 of you go 2 by 2. Yes. There are instructions. It's not that they each couldn't go on their own. Surely they could, because the same power was given, the same authority was given. But there are instructions to follow, and it's for our own good that we should follow those instructions for our protection. Do this, don't do that. It's not so we can have fun. It's so we can be protected within the boundaries or guardrails of your balcony. It will not fall off. A balcony without rails, any little thing I won't even get onto it to start with, because I know I would. That's the time I will sleep and roll. So this is where the kingdom is expanding. And if we're looking at Mark, starting from verse 2, the key word is compassion. In Greek, I cannot pronounce it. Splagisonomai. Anyway, it translates to compassion. Mark 8, verse 2, I have compassion on the crowd. The crowds gathered. They gathered again the second time. And remember when he was going back, when they found him after the first feeding, they found him, they followed him, they were ahead of him where he was going. He said, he didn't come because you wanted to hear the word. It's the food you ate. And your neighbors have told you, the food we ate, we couldn't finish. You want to see for yourself. But he's done it now in a different territory, not the Israelite territory, so that we know this is not exclusive to you alone. Wherever God is, his mercy, his compassion, his blessing, his favor, this multiplication is wherever God is. So my joy should be that I carry the presence of God, not that I'm going to look for him somewhere. But if I come with his presence, then where I am, he is, and where he is, anything can happen there that needs to happen. Right? And that compassion, it emerges repeatedly throughout the book of Mark, not because the people were deserving, but because God's heart is moved towards human need. Pray, ask, and it says pray without ceasing. But we've changed it to mean organized prayer. But most of the time, we don't see Jesus having an organized prayer that has to be called in before he does anything. His personal life is prayer. My life should be a living, breathing, walking prayer. That does not require me to find a space to kneel. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because a few chapters back, we heard him where they said, where are you? We're looking for you. They're looking for you everywhere. Anytime he finishes with people, he takes his time and goes away somewhere to be by himself and be with his Father. And I know he did it on purpose, where he didn't show us how he did it, or else. Just look at the Lord's Prayer.
Copied it.
Look at the Lord's Prayer.
And sinker.
Everybody, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be that. Now we just recite it without even having meaning. Or let me not go there. That's fine. Anyway, so so his heart is moved towards our needs.
Yeah.
And before Jesus teaches his disciples, he first demonstrates provision. Call them, let them sit down 2 by 2. Oh yeah, feed them. And then they can now hear what everybody think about it. The man, the blind man, he healed him first. Now the man is following. What is your pain? Bring it to Christ. Let him deal with your pain. If he doesn't take it away, he will help you reframe it so you can bear it. And in the process of bearing it, you will see why you had it in the first place. Remember, I was saying to you the other day, I was like, so if not me, who should be the one to suffer this? Why? So who do I recommend to suffer? To carry the. Since I feel it is suffering.
Nobody.
Who then? Who is better to place to? Who deserves it? Since I don't.
I don't deserve it.
All right. Instead, let me reframe it. Let me hand it over to my Father and say, so this thing that I'm experiencing now, I know you don't teach me by punishing me, but I'm going through this now. How do I? And then I might find somebody in 3 days, in 1 week, experiencing something similar, and I would be able to have compassion, and I would be able to say, oh my goodness, when this happened to me, this is what I did, this is how I, or maybe not even speak, maybe just put my hand on you and say in my heart, because that person doesn't need to hear it, except they ask me to pray for them. But I can say, Father, I can feel this pain. So this is what it looks like when someone is going through what I've just come out of. Touch your child where they need you. And in 2 days, 3 days, the person is giving you a testimony of, man, you know, that day after you left, I went here, we did this, and by the time I even did ABC, I can go back and say, Lord, thank you.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a fanfare where we come here, bring oil, and start dancing. And I'm not making fun of anybody's method.
And dance, because
you can dance all you want. But all I'm saying is following Jesus's example and what Mark is showing us how he approached. Giving thanks, he broke. Gave thanks, broke the bread. Provision before he starts to teach anything. And provision does not mean food in your mouth and your belly all the time. It could be the provision of wisdom, knowledge, grace, whatever, compassion, empathy that you give to this person will let them they will lend you their ears at that point. Like, how do you see someone starving and say, God is good, and send them on their way?
When you have what will
help them, so they can now hear about God's goodness. And instead of running to somebody else to help them, they can talk to God first. Because that's the whole idea. It's not running to our own devices or to our neighbors and our brothers and sisters first. Run to God first, and he will tell you which neighbor to go to. And while you're talking to him, the neighbor might even knock on your door. So the second part, 11 to 13, demanding for a sign. I will let you speak about that. But the word there, the key word that I got out of that is the demand for a sign is like they came to test him. The Bible records that Jesus said that they came to test, they wanted to test him, to see, to challenge him, to trap him with his words, to prove that he was wrong. It wasn't a sincere search. They were not really searching to find out their questions that they're asking here. They wanted to trick him into response that they can use against him later on. But he knows their heart. You now come with the resistance, disguise it at a choir. You say, oh no, you are a prayerful. Then if it now enters your head, you will now say, yes, I'm a prayerful person. Yes. What's your problem? Give it to me and I pray you out of it. And God does not move. Then you go home and ask him, what happened now?
Yeah, exactly. Because they are relying. I think for the feeding as well, is kind of like just in the same notes, just making sure that where your resources are. Even if I'm running to you, I've run to him first.
That's the thing now. So you will now know who to go to. So favor
first
is going
no
ahead of you to where he needs you to go.
There's no man that I am relying on. I might even be running to you for not something else. Remember what happened last week Sunday? Friends. Right? And then you provide. And it is after that you say, I didn't even know that. Do you understand? So it's always when you allow God to lead, it's very refreshing, because first of all, you don't even have the pressure. You don't have the pressure of thinking too much or too far ahead of yourself. So he's our source. When we make him our source, then we are not depending on resources. There is no resource that we're depending on. I was speaking to mommy today, talking about the Fulani this and Fulani headsmen, and none of my business. In fact, that they are here is because God wants them to be around the place, moving around, if they are. And one thing is clear is that human beings, everybody has their agenda. Is my agenda aligned? Have I left my agenda and aligned to God? That's my question every day. Is this my agenda, or is this God's way? Right? Once I get that in my head, every time, it's easy. Life is sweet. And that's why Jesus said, leave your own, carry my own. Because my own, you don't have to think. You're just, imagine being a child.
The flow and ebb of grace.
Just imagine being a child. Now that we are adults and we have our own families and whatever, right? You now know what it meant when you were a child. Because everything is taken care of. Everything, as long as your parents are responsible, and we have a responsible father. So we put in our armor of child, your beloved child. Why do I need to start looking for things when my dad is there? Very responsible. Right? So I think we've gone up to like verse 10.
We've passed where so
around to talk about the
14:21. The leaven.
They came and began to question Jesus to test him. They asked him for a sign from heaven, and he sighed deeply and said, why does this generation ask for a sign? Truly I tell you, no sign will be given to it. Then he left them, got back into the boat and crossed to the other side. And this is somebody
I love it. He didn't argue.
Jesus used to do miracles on like demand, but there has to be a motive. Your motive has to be pure and genuine. Now you're asking for it. What are you asking for a sign for? You came and began to question him and then ask him for a sign from heaven, right? And just after that, I think I'll take the two together, where the yeast of the Pharisees and disciples had forgotten to bring bread, except for one loaf they had with them. These are like me. I would have been the same, where they just told you now. I can provide everything. I provided. Then something has finished, you now start thinking, oh my God, where will I now get? Oh my God, where will I now get this from? I feel them. I actually do feel them. And every time you read the Bible, you read yourself in it, right? So, and Jesus said, be careful. Watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees and that of Herod. My understanding of this is that, you know how yeast is? Yeast is small, but it spreads.
And that's what it is.
It spreads. So when you allow a small seed,
Yeah.
bad seed,
Yeah.
bad habits, bad motive, bad intention to spread. Even if sometimes it comes in the form of, because he added Pharisees, right? We know Herod's own type of character, but because he also mentioned Pharisees where they were stinkers for the rules.
Yeah.
Not that there was anything bad
Wrong with
that,
yeah,
but they were not then applying it. They were applying it for selectively and to the detriment of every other
the
person.
people you are trying to help,
right?
You say you are,
and they knew that they were impoverishing those people.
Yes.
But under the guise of, as you said, I need to tithe everything.
Yes.
So that behavior itself can be so little.
Yes. The leaven, according to the Greek word, is actually influence. It's influence, because influence does not come straight at you. It doesn't come to say, Ulo, break that jar.
Yeah.
It starts as a little suggestion. It would be nice if that thing was something. Would it not look nice? Don't you think? Little by little, it comes like a suggestion that you can leave.
Yeah.
That small seed has been sown. The next thing, you are the one who start propagating and watering it. By the more you think about it, the more it starts to make sense to you. Like, actually, it's not actually a bad idea. After all, who am I harming? I'm not harming anybody. It's just me, myself, and I it's my glass. I can break it if I want. In fact, it will look nice broken. Before you know what's happening, you will go and use your own hand and break the vase, and all in the guise of, I want to make another decorative part. But seriously, did it need to be? It's just that's the influence. A small influence that spreads through the whole.
Yes. And it would take over.
And that's what they said about one bad apple. Remember that song? One bad apple makes the whole rot.
You can even see sometimes on the road.
Yeah.
Especially here. One person. It takes one person to break the rule.
That everybody will just start.
And then
like, am I the only one who's going to be in this traffic? All of us.
Any other person that is a non-rule breaker is what? A Jew. You now become the stupid one, right? So
that's discussing religious performance, external appearance, and control through tradition.
Yes.
This is how we do it here.
That tradition.
This is how we do it here. So because this is how we do it here, it doesn't matter who you're hurting, who is being harmed, who is being stifled. Just this is how we do it.
My prayer is that God will always open our eyes, because the hardening of hearts, as Jesus said, and your heart hardened. I think Jesus was frustrated with his father because I don't understand again. Like, I'm here telling you, you're seeing me, and yet you're not still getting it. Right? So
read it to that part. What verse was that?
So from verse 17.
Yes.
As they 16, they discussed this with one another and said, so this after Jesus said, beware of the leaven. And then he now said, it is because we have they discussed this with one another and said, it is because we have no bread. Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked them, why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see, and ears but fail to hear? And don't you remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000? How many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up? 12, they replied. And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up? The answer is 7. He said to them, do you still not understand? See? So, yeah. That is
the leaven of the Pharisees. That's the religious performance, because we're going to church every Sunday, just marking register. External appearance, we dress well. Some people don't even have any fits, any, or sometimes not some people, sometimes all of us don't pay special attention to hygiene, but on yeah, you would do everything to present yourself and then control through tradition. But the leaven of Herod was actually the political part. So just the two parts that joined together. Some of them came through both, right? They are keeping up appearances, and then they're trying to preserve self-preservation, worldly authority. All those are the things that come to play when you look at what's the word I'm looking for? When you look at both the external and control, traditional control, worldly authority, external appearance, self-preservation, religious performance, political power, they go hand in hand. They go together. A lot of the time, like the man that Jesus healed of blindness was it in Mark 4 or 5? And the parents said, well, he's old enough, ask him. So because they will not, the Bible was clear. It said, so they will not kick them out of the synagogue.
Yeah.
Self-preservation, external appearance, religious performance. Why won't I stand for my son, who I know was blind? Because you would kick me out of coming to church, you would disfellowship. You better disfellowship all of us. My child that I was blind, he can now see. You better disfellowship. I will disfellowship myself by God's grace. Let nothing come and test me. I don't want that test, please. So
Jesus, when they see you do disfellowship, you're not there at all.
Jesus is like he said, his frustration was real, man.
Yeah.
And we can see echoes of that in Isaiah 6.
Okay.
That frustration, for your reading later, because I try and look for where did it happen first, cross references to help. Jeremiah 5 as well, and Ezekiel 12. Those are 3 areas we can look at. What eyes that are open and cannot see look like. Some have been closed deliberately.
Yes.
Because that's not the time, which is what we were talking about before. Like, the spirit of discernment is given to you for when you need it to be able to do what. Because if you see before time, you might mess up where you are supposed to go and do the wrong thing anyway. And anything you do before time, you will come back and redo.
Yes.
Yes. So at this point, we see that though the disciples are physically present with Jesus, spiritually they're slow. Their mind is not. How many times have we gone to the end of something and then we come back and say, oh, was that what it meant? Oops. Same thing. Same thing. And the unique miracle of the man at Bethsaida from in verse 22 to 26. Where he heals the man in stages. First was his touch. He touched him, said, I see people, but they look like trees. Do you know, every time I read that, I first ask myself this question. Is it that the man used to see before?
Obviously. Yeah. And blindness is not
maybe it wasn't full blindness.
Yeah, like it was a little number of people are like completely blind.
Absolutely. So that they will not see any shapes or anything at all.
So you have, when you see it, you have like some people that just see so they'll see if this is the eye,
yes,
then there's some spots like this, so they can see through certain things, but they are not seeing the
some. It's just like you're looking through curtains, but can't see what is
like. I've seen like it's something like this, and then it's like this. So this is the only 3 spots you're seeing out of
the whole picture.
Wow. So you can't see
I want to do that research. I'm going to actually do the research to see the levels of blindness. Yeah, levels of blindness and what that actually means. Because when you see the other man where he spat on the ground, made mud, put on his eyes, that one, his eyes were not open at all. But this particular man, he did something different. Now, when you look at how he did it, first things first. Let's read that part. I want us to go there. So just to share with you what I... 22. Yes, 22 to 26, I think.
Yeah. They came to Bethsaida, and some people brought a blind man and begged Jesus to touch him. He took the blind man by the hand and led him outside the village. When he had spit on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked, "Do you see anything?" He looked up and said, "I see people. They look like trees walking around." Once more, Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes. Then his eyes were opened. His sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. Jesus sent him home, saying, "Don't even go into the village."
Thank you. See what the reason I asked us to read that. The other man, he healed him in front of the people. This man, he took him by the hand and led him outside the village, away from the talk, away from any distraction he might have. Because where his mind was, Jesus needed total extrication, take you away from the norm that will maybe, who knows what chatter might have caused any level of unbelief in this man. And maybe them seeing him mixing the mud and doing all the fanfare, they might take it to mean anybody who is blind now, we're going to spit in mud and do. So removing the penchant that we as individuals, as human beings have of copying and pasting verbatim. If this happened here, God uses methods that we cannot determine from time to time. David going to fight the Philistines, Amalekite, all those wars he used to fight. Shall I pursue them? Will I overtake? He said, go.
Yeah.
These same people came back again. Shall I pursue? Can I overtake them? He did not say go. He said, yes, you will, but this time go from. Which is why we must always come back for instruction.
Always.
The fact that I did it the last time like this doesn't mean that's how I want you to do it now. The fact that this is how you were able to handle A, B, C, D doesn't mean I even want you to fight that battle now. Remember the other people, he said, this time, just stand and you will see the deliverance of the Lord. For this battle is not yours, it's the Lord's. How do I know which one is my battle and the one that is the Lord's battle if I'm not asking for discernment and clarity? So this whole part of taking him away, first and foremost, taking him away from because I don't know, you're distracting me with your...
Sorry.
I thought whether you're killing somebody.
My eye instructions, that's a mother. Without saying anything, I have conducted transactions.
Oh goodness. Yeah. So for me, looking at the touch, the first touch, the second touch, it doesn't mean that Jesus needed to touch him twice. Because he didn't even need to touch him for his eyes to be opened. This was to show us who are coming behind, reading what we're reading now, that there are times when we will ask for something that it is his will for us, but there is a method and a process that he might use for me that he doesn't necessarily use for. And if he responds to me the first time and it's not, I should be able to say, right, thank you, Father, you've done this, but is this where we agreed to stop? Shall I stop here, or is it, can I, right? It's still not clear. Jesus did that. So it's not that he who was God, needed a second touch. The man needed the second touch. We need the second touch, the third, sometimes the fourth. And the whole idea is not to be afraid to ask. I'm not satisfied. And let him be the one to tell me no. My grace is sufficient for you for the rest. But my job is to ask. It's in this same mark we read here earlier when we're looking at it. It's compassion that moved him. And it's compassion for his children that moves him into action. Not because of how hard we prayed or where we were. We are not the ones instructing God to do. But when I reach the end of myself and I can come and be honest about where I am, now he can reach me. But if I still think I got this, all right, let's see where you end.
I got you.
You know?
No, you don't got me. Like Stephen Fordring's wife. You don't got me, no.
You know? And this actually is symbolic of the disciples. They see Jesus, they don't get it clearly.
Of course.
They haven't seen fully.
We already saw it
We've
here.
read it, yeah.
Even here, we've just read it in the yeast.
In the yeast. And
when he talked about the yeast, and they're still asking bread. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So spiritual understanding, like you said when we first started, is usually, progressive. You go from blindness, you don't see at all. Then partial sight. Now you're seeing some. Then it gives clarity. Oh my God, is that what it? And then we move to verse 27 to 30, where Peter is talking about, where we read of Peter's confession. At this point, he's seeing things, he's hearing things. It's like, wow.
But so my question is this.
Yeah.
And this is why I just feel like sometimes Jesus was frustrated with his Father in heaven, because you said, you gave me these people. Why can't these people understand it? And I think as well, this is my own interpretation, that's why he's always asking, are your hearts hardened? Are your heart, because he knows that once God doesn't want you to hear it, you're not hearing it. Is it that your hearts are hardened? Yes, their hearts are hardened. Because in this same Peter, now you don't know whether it's the same day or whatever, but it's still the same period of events. Is declaring something that
nobody else has
sourced, but he's part of these people that were asking for bread. And
even after here, he will still ask questions.
He will still ask questions.
You will turn around and say, are you not the same person who just said?
Yes. So yes, it is evidence exactly that is the one that God gives to you and shows you that he wants you to know. And he wants you to declare to other people to be aware.
Yes.
That's it.
He's the same one who cut somebody's ear. If you you know who he is, why are you running?
Because that's
why are you rushing to take over and solve the problem, change agenda. So maybe I will even call this the book, the whatever of clarity of agenda of the people that were beside Christ, because the fact that we, even us here who are studying, there are times when our agenda shifts. Remember how we get bogged down.
Yes, of course.
The agenda shifts, and it's now a matter of no, we must do it at 7 p.m. and then God just moves like only he can and ensures that we are unable to.
You must.
Then we sit down and look at ourselves and say, what are we even doing?
You have to catch yourself every time.
What am I doing?
To catch yourself.
So at the end of the day, it becomes, who are you doing it for? Is this a religious appearance, keeping up religious appearances to do the course online, or are we learning?
Exactly.
Because the whole purpose was to learn.
Yeah. Learning, integrating.
So I look at it now as an accountability partner as opposed to the other way around, where I have to deliver a teaching of no. This is what ensures that I must come to learn.
Exactly.
Because when we're here, whether we like it or not, the Spirit is speaking and we're learning.
Yes.
And I love it when we don't even have notes. I love it most when we don't have notes, because now I go back and listen to hear the things you've said, the things I've said, and I'm like, wow, okay, that makes sense. But before we had the conversation where we're learning together like this, it did not occur to me. I didn't think about it like that.
Exactly. But it's the question that we all ask, or we all answered. Who is Jesus? Who do you say I am? And Peter said, you are the Messiah. The Messiah, Savior, Redeemer. Yet we try to save ourselves and redeem ourselves by our acts.
Or pay for it, and pay for the salvation.
And acts of nothingness, because nothing we can do can give us any sort of credits with God. It's kind of like being somewhere and thinking of how, oh, I need to pay the rent, but you're the owner of the house. Or I need to pay for this shoe. I need to pay for this shoe, but it's yours. There's nobody you're paying to. So it's quite ridiculous. Yeah. But that's where we have,
it is so amazing. Between verse 31 and 33, 32, the 2 verses above, you just said who you believe. Jesus, though some people say you are this, some people say you yourself, who do you say I am? And you have just said that you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Yes. And Jesus has said, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you. In other words, nobody told you this, but my Father in heaven has put it down in your heart who I am. The very next thing, okay, since my Father has opened your eyes to who I am, let me now tell you the kind of suffering I'm about to suffer. He said, I rebuke you, you will not suffer. At all. Sure? Once you have rebuked him. Hello? Yes. You just said you are. I would have done the same thing, 100%. I'm reading it now, Peter's story, Jesus' story. If it was me and Jesus together, Uche, think about it. You are the Son of God. You are the Son of God. My mindset, and that's the thing about the mindset. How can somebody torture the Son of God? And what's it called? Expectation. Even if they are going to torture you, I've seen you heal people. I've seen you raise people from the dead. I've seen you feed people. I've seen you stop them from killing me, because at the time when Jesus met Peter, he was going to be killed very soon. Plenty money. The Romans would have carried this, right? So first of all, there will be another way. Jesus said it in Gethsemane, where he was like, Father, is there, you had, there can be another way. If it is possible. If it's possible, right? And is there anything not impossible with God? So think of it like that. At the end of the day, yes, and that's why he said flesh and blood did not reveal it to you, because he was saying it. And that's what I think. I think that sometimes we are the medium, we are the conduits. We are going to believe. We are going to unpack this thing. We're not finishing it. Yes. Do we really stopping here? Wait now. Wait, because let me tell you why we're stopping here. Because you see this Messiah refrain from verse 31, we can't gloss over it. I agree. I just got that leading in my spirit. I agree. No. And this is why we will have to come back, because of you say if you were there with Jesus. No, I don't know. I'm not. It's with hindsight. I'm not saying now that even me as of now. So there are things that now, which is what we started. Going back to where we started, that it is what growth. Yes. There are things now that when the pain is here, I can. No, here it's okay. I can touch here. The pain is somewhere here. My hands can't get to it. I can't explain to you where to. Even if you massage it, won't fit. I am now learning to say, it pleased him to bruise his son. It can only be for good. There must only be good coming out of this. There's no reason I will not starve my child to teach her a lesson. And I'm not as good as my father who gave me breath. So there's no reason why I should have the kind of pain that will cause death, and it is not for good. No, it has to be for good. That's what hindsight has allowed me to be able to reframe. Does not mean that I don't start off in the wrong trajectory of what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
Like there's somebody else who should feel this apart from me, or that it is a punishment, because it is not. Do you understand? Which is why I don't want us to gloss over.
This is where I will end this conversation till 2 weeks. Jesus said, "You do not have in mind the consents of God, but merely human consents." Until you, as we started, that spiritual growth has to have been entrenched.
Yeah.
And that's why you're saying that now you have the presence of mind and spirit, God's spirit in you, to reveal to you that every pain that you're passing through is not because you're being punished. Okay, there's something out of this. It took growth.
Yeah.
It took that spiritual growth and awareness, self-awareness, to know, okay, dig deep into the spirit. It's easy for us to also, example, help somebody that comes through your door and say, okay, I have the 10,000 naira to ease your pain, give. Whereas
but there are times when he will say
there are times when you need to tell that person something. So
that was the biggest
push
lesson I
them
learned.
Into a spiritual way, for them to know. Like somebody told me this week how he lost his income, and it's a Yoruba and Igbo thing. I said, no. Do you know what God has prevented you from this week that you've not been on the road? He had to pause. Say, yes, think about it. So it's not because, you're asking for money, I don't have money, or I have money to give you. No, but think about what you have been prevented. So don't blame it on somebody else. When your Father in heaven is taking care of you. Are you eating? Yes. Are you sleeping? Do you have any health issues? Do you have where you can lay your head? So when Jesus said, our concern is not
God's concern.
God is not, you don't have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns. Most of the time we're acting out of our
personal discomfort,
our need, our wants, even. Sometimes it's not even need, it's wants, preferences, challenges. My life should be easy. He never promised
I
you
should have done this by now.
That
one is the worst lie.
The worst. My mates are
as if they're not some in the grave.
You won't compare yourself.
No, don't go and compare with the grave. You compare with the one who has bought skyscraper.
So I agree that we can end here. And
we will start with the reframe of the Messiah from verse 31 in Mark chapter 8:31 next session, because it's important that we answer this question for ourselves.
Exactly.
Some people say Jesus is this, Jesus is that. Who do you say he is?
With your life, or not your life. Mouth.
With your life.
Not mouth.
Am I living as the one who calls him my Messiah?
Exactly.
When pressure comes, what do I do? They're about to share this money. I'm an estate agent and the client is about to pay to the other person. Do I start to run around like a headless chicken because they are cheating me? Or will I follow due process and leave the rest? Will I make enemies out of work in the workplace because I think somebody woke up in the middle of the night and all they can see is me? They thought about it's me that is making them come to work. That's why I'm the one that they have it in for me. And listen,
they have me in mind.
So we have to refrain and we have to answer that question. And in the next, on the next ARCOS session in 2 weeks.
2 weeks time.
Yeah, 2 weeks. God's grace will be with us so that we can quietly but clearly identify what exactly. See, the way I'm looking at this thing, if I'm going to follow Christ, then let me follow Christ. If I am not going to follow him fully and I'm going to be cherry picking, today I'm following Christ. Tomorrow, I'm a Baptist. The day after that, I'm from, I'm answering different names and different titles and different organizations because
that's how they do things.
You understand? Religious practices. Listen, this life, this thing, it's too.
The price is too high.
The price to pay is too high, and we've gone too far and we know a bit too much now to be playing certain games with one another. Nobody cares. Seriously, it's not about me, it's not about you. By the time honestly, nobody cares if your dress is too short, too long. Nobody, serious, it's not, nobody cares. Jesus was clear. It's your heart hardened. It's heart. It's your heart. Your heart posture will determine everything else that happens. Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the river of life itself. If that heart is hardened, if that heart is calloused, if it has been given over to a depraved mind, you can't hear come. Talk less of go. You won't know when to stop, when to start. Discernment might be staring you in the face. If I don't have clarity of what it is that I'm looking for, how will I know I found it when I find it? So I'm following Christ. But our next session will look at the cost of being a disciple. There is a cost. There's a cost to building a relationship with you as my sister. There is a cost to me. There's a cost to you. And we will be willing to pay that price because we have chosen to love. It's a choice. It's not a feeling. If I follow the feeling, I won't even talk to myself sometimes. Maybe by now I'll be keeping malice with myself. Because I disappoint myself, Today, did I exercise? No. Why am I not keeping malice with myself? When I said, thank you. So why should I hold you hostage over a failed promise when I fail myself too from time to time? I can be compassionate.
Give yourself grace.
Then I will see the next person and say, no, you are evil just because
I draw the line.
Cancel culture, cancel them. So next ACOS, we will look at what the cost is. And I'm hoping that all of us will take it seriously and just answer that question. Who is Christ to you? Who do you say he is? Is he the Bible story character that did good? Or did he resurrect and is his spirit on earth today, help guiding us and teaching us all things just like he said he would?
A good place to take it into the next 2 weeks.
Stay blessed.
Thank you.
Go and live a transformed life, and we will do what we do best just after this and carry on this conversation, because we're not living it, but we're living your presence. Doesn't mean we're living his presence, and his presence may go with you in Jesus' name. Amen. See you on the other side.
Cheers.